nutrition is essential. So what you eat is what you are, right? So what you eat goes into your skin and your nails and your hair as well. So welcome antioxidants again. Everything rich in vitamin C is more than welcome. All my berries are more than welcome.
Welcome to the Double Down podcast with Dr. D. I'm Dr. Paula Daleman, a triple board certified MD with a passion for helping you thrive at every stage of life, from your first steps into wellness to navigating menopause like a pro. Whether you're tackling weight, mastering menopause, or leveling up your health, this is your go-to space for transformation. It's time to double down on your health and your life. Let's get started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Double Down with Dr. D. I'm Dr. D, triple board certified, and I'm here to continue our conversations about redefining midlife, because it's not the end, it's the beginning. It's not a midlife crisis, it's a transformation. And today, on our menopause series, we're going to talk about 3 important components of our body that are part of the integumentary system. It's a big word, but what really refers is to all the components that are outside our body. So the main 3 elements that we love, we live for them, we spend money on them, time, and it sometimes even defines our self-esteem. It's skin, hair, and our nails. So hormones play a very important role. It's the symphony of hormones that maintains the quality of these 3 elements. And like we know, the main characters of our hormones, especially now that we're talking about perimenopause and menopause, are the king, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. But there is some background, let's say, supportive actors that they play a very important role that will determine as well what kind of quality of the skin or how far we age. Are the thyroid hormones, cortisol, insulin, growth hormone. Some vitamins like vitamin D will play a role as well. So let's start digging in a little bit better. So the most important hormone, estrogen, what I call the estrogen's glow factor. So estrogen, through different mechanisms, create the perfect environment for the skin to be fully perfused. So a lot of blood goes into the skin and maintains that skin moist and thick enough, and gives the good structure of the collagen to the skin through all these years that we produce good amounts of estrogen. So through our fertile years, by the time we start declining, again, I don't like that word that much, but the estrogen starts just diminishing slowly through our late 30s and going into 40s. Then we start noticing the difference between how our skin used to look on the early 20s, plump, nice, rosy type of skin, all the way to what's happening, why my skin feels thinner. Doesn't matter how much moisturizers I put on, it feels like it's starting to just suck a little bit. The little lines start to show up. Estrogen plays an important role in the distribution of the fat. So we start losing our little nice bone cheeks. Everything looks more hollow in certain areas. And this is when we start noticing our selfies are not the same than 10 years ago or 5 years ago, or sometimes even happens overnight, right? Your eyelids overnight. So if we understand that that's a connection with the estrogen, and the progesterone is there as well. And remember that these two hormones, they are like the yin and yang, and they together create the perfect environment. So progesterone as well, especially progesterone for being the calming, counteracting hormone of cortisol, which is very inflammatory, as well maintains a very nice, relaxed, smooth kind of structure for our skin. Our hair is mainly related to testosterone. So, testosterone, we'll talk about it in another podcast, is the good, the bad, and the ugly of testosterone. So too much testosterone will totally make horrible baldness, and too little testosterone, it will be very thin, very few hairs. So it's in the middle. It's all about the middle. And it comes back to the same concept. For testosterone, is all about finding the sweet spot in the middle. So going back into hair physiology, testosterone will play the most important role in our scalp. And that's why many medications that they are available for alopecia, which is the loss of hair, or losing too much hair as well, kind of problems, are those medications that are available are focused on that conversion of DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, into testosterone for the hair growth and physiology. And our progesterone as well. It creates a very good environment for a beautiful, fully hair. A good example is those who we have been going through pregnancy, and progesterone is the main hormone present during pregnancy. We notice that our hair looks all shiny and beautiful. We lose less hair because progesterone it's in charge of that. So all this is happening through all the years that our hormones are there, the symphony is happening, everybody is in balance. And then here we are going into a little bit of less accessibility to the three of them. Thyroid, actually, it's important to mention that thyroid and estrogen have a relationship as well. And that's why many women going through perimenopause and menopause have the tendency to present with thyroid dysfunction, either hypothyroidism, famous Hashimoto's. It's because estrogen gives support to the thyroid function and to the production of thyroid hormones. If with lack of estrogen, you are at risk of having thyroid dysfunction, the thyroid hormone will make an impact in how your intertegumentary system reacts as well. So all this adds on into the recipe. And cortisol, which is our big hormone, it's a hormone that without would die, but with too much we die as well. And we produce it as a survival as well, like adrenaline. Cortisol is there, but if we expose to cortisol chronically, that's highly inflammatory, and that will put us at risk of many chronic diseases. And is one of the best way to counteract stress is talking about cortisol, right? We talk about sleep. It's about let's balance your cortisol peaks. Let's manage your stress reaction through how much cortisol you're producing. You are in an inflammatory state for A, B, or C reason. You're producing cortisol, which is absolutely necessary because it's part of the cortisol is part of that inflammation. It's for survival as well. So the cortisol plays a role in breaks down collagen and makes hair thinning. It makes our hair to fall more, right? When you are in high moments of stress, you create a lot of cortisol. Then you wake up in the morning and you can see your pillowcase full of those hairs. It's not a coincidence. That's the hormone that is making a big impact in your hair, how healthy your hair is looking. Cortisol plays an important role in the appearance of acne, eczema, any of those dermatological conditions that react to stress will flare up. Cortisol is one of the main components of this reaction. Insulin, right? So we can go with lifestyle medicine, long conversation about lifestyle choices and chronic diseases and how everything is about the concept of insulin resistance. So too much insulin, that it creates a resistance to the body to absorb that insulin that is in our blood flow. That insulin, it's as well an inflammatory hormone that it makes you prone to acne as well and other conditions. Very easy reactions like allergic reactions to anything topical to the people who has a tendency to have insulin resistance. Poor healing. A wound will take forever just to go back into the normal state, or scarring. It's not as smooth and nice as it used to be when we were young, or in the people who has more balance of the inflammatory hormones and they don't have just an explosion of those inflammatory hormones. Growth hormone stimulates collagen, but I guess we don't need it anymore. We're not growing anymore. So we don't have a lot of sources to stimulate our collagen. We can talk a little bit more about collagen supplements, which has a lot of controversy out there. It does work, it doesn't work, it's absorbed, it's not absorbed. Really how it works, how come bovine collagen will get into your system and go and create collagen. What type of collagen, what source, not only if it's animal or not, because anyways, there is only animal. It's that a lab that is producing pure enough collagen. Should I put it in my coffee or not? There's a lot of things out there in social media. I'm not going to go into the details, but collagen is kind of a supplement that might work. There is not any damage in not trying it. My opinion is just get a good lab, a good brand, and give it over to your body, because what is happening with that collagen, it just breaks down. Collagen is just it's a protein, right? It's a bunch of little peptides, which is all the amino acids, which is all in the protein family. And when it's taken orally in the gastrointestinal system, it's break down. You absorb those amino acids, and those amino acids work as a stimulation, more as a ringing the bell on our own system to produce to our fibroblasts, which are the cells that are kind of producing that collagen. So we're tapping on them, tell them, hey, can you just help me to produce more collagen as much as possible, since I don't have that much of my hormones that I used to have 20 years ago. And that is important because the fibroblasts and other cells that they are there to help you to produce that structure, they have to be healthy. So we almost need the extra lifestyle choices, our nutrition, not smoking, a lot of hydration for those cells to be able to use that exogenous or the type of collagen that you're taking, drinking, whatever sort that you want to access to work. And what about nails? Nails are becoming brittle. Nails break easier. I was almost sure it was mainly because all the chemicals that we put on it and the new type of nail polishes that they're all over, the gels, they're not gels, the powders, they're not powders. I try to be as less chemical as possible, but it's still, as well, I like my nails nice and done and something that it won't chip that easy. So I noticed it's starting to break very easy, and just realized that estrogen plays a very important role in how thick my nail is. Not only from the vascularity side, like I explained before, the estrogen plays a very important role inside the vessels to create a nice flow to the peripheral side. So as far as possible from your heart, which is very difficult to pump all the way to your nail bed, to give enough nutrients for that nail to grow nice, thick, and healthy. Not only from that side, but also there is the keratinocytes, which is our cells that are going to help to produce the nail tissue, and they are highly stimulated by estrogens. Thyroid hormone plays an important role as well there. And like we say, because there is a lot of intertwine between decline again, low levels of estrogen and thyroid dysfunction, our low thyroid hormones will put us at risk of brittle nails or not growing fast and not growing long enough and breaking easy, and the little line, the little ridges, right? Because ridges are important, and we can have a quick conversation about this because it's very medical. We find a lot of diagnostic cues, diagnostic kind of tips on the tip of our fingers, on our nails, and it's on the ridge. It can give us a lot of idea on, is there a lack of something? Is there a lack of a vitamin or a mineral? Is there another chronic disease happening? The nails react a lot to low oxygen environments. So a lot of the cardiac diseases can show as different form of the nail, as different forms like the upside down spoon type of nail, the pinch nail, we have the parrot peak nail. All of them are related with different diseases, and it's impressive because just out of that finding, we can start doing some workups on more important diseases. So this is how important nails are, beyond just going for a manicure and beyond just looking pretty when you put your rings on. And so we go back to estrogen, we go back to thyroid hormone, how much they play a role on it, and how all those changes are part of our aging process, which, again, going back into, like Dr. Marie-Claire Harvard said, menopause is inevitable, but suffering, it is an option. And there is a lot of things that we could do, either to maintain what we already have that is there as a quality, and we don't want to lose it, or to improve it if it's possible. So There is a lot of lifestyle changes that we can do. I don't need to go. It's going to be obvious to everybody. A good hydration during the day. We say 2 liters of water a day should be the amount that a person should be drinking through the day, a minimum. And you don't wait until you're thirsty. You drink through the day and you make your body saying, oh, thank you, I wasn't thinking about it, but thanks for those 2 liters at the end of the day. Yes, you have to go more to the bathroom, but doesn't matter. Your kidneys are going to say, they're going to say, oh, thank you, working a little bit more than I used to. Sorry, you have to stand up, which it's a good thing to stand up because you're reminding your body that you're alive. So you see what all the domino effect out of water. Okay, hydration. Sunscreen. So sunscreen, it is very important. Another thing that is, it has raised certain different opinions. I'm not saying nobody's against sunscreen, but I heard a lot of dermatologists talking about, are we using too much sunscreen? Are we creating this vitamin D deficiency out of our skin is not exposed to the sun? So up to now, for me, the best concept on sunlight, sunscreen, protection for cancer and for aging, I would say I think sunscreen it is important and exposure to sun it is important, but it's when to expose to sun, the amount of time as well. So sunscreen all day long, but if you are going to go for a walk before 9 a.m., 10 a.m., you absolutely can have all the benefits of sunlight. And maybe there's going to be an tiny aging process underneath, but it's not the typical sun rays of the middle of the day that is going to exposure to all this carcinogenic type of radiation. And then we will need the sunscreen. And a little parenthesis here, remember the sunscreen wears off after 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So if you remember to reapply it every 2 to 3 hours, maybe when you're going to the bathroom, maybe you get a little bottle of sunscreen there, especially in the face, your neck, your chest. I think it is important. And if you are indoors, I'm saying if you're outdoors, it has to be in a more broad area. And so we say hydration, sunscreen, and now comes into all these creams, where our money goes, right? So we hear our friend said, the dermatologist recommended. So at the end, I heard something recently on the internet. I really like it. And she said, she's a menopause doctor from the UK. And she said, as simple as possible, you can give to your skin. So it can be $300, but it can be $30 simple skincare that it has no perfumes, that it has the minimum of a good moisturizing ingredients. Again, I'm not a dermatologist, but I love to listen to what's the latest, what's the evidence behind certain products. There is Dr. Idris, which I really like, and I follow her, and she gives very good tips. She's very good into going to what the ingredients inside each of those products. And so anything that is moisturizing, is the hyaluronic acid, there is different types of components that it will keep hydrated. And there is a lot of evidence behind retinoids. So in starting a retinoid cream earlier, before you start seeing some changes in your skin, can be a very preventive way of maintaining the skin nice and flawless. If you haven't and you're already in your 50s, it's fine. Never is too late to start it. It was actually my esthetician, the one who's asked me once, how come you haven't started any retinoids? And I said to her, I think I tried them once and I was allergic. And she's like, well, that is not that common of an allergy. Maybe you didn't get the good instructions. And it was true. I never got the good instructions that retinoids have to have a specific way to apply them. The area around the eyes is super sensitive, and that was the area that I thought I was allergic because that area was swollen and it looked like after a boxing match. And so I'd say, oh, I'm allergic to this. I'm never going to touch vitamin A. And then I understood that it was just a lack of education on how to use it. So I started using it, and indeed, it made a difference. And I'm talking about, I was already in my late 40s. So I'm trying to catch up. And I think that routine of putting some retinoids, remember retinol Under the sun is a no-no. It makes you, it can give you like a sunburn type of. So just follow instructions of a dermatologist that knows more into this. Don't forget that it requires certain education on how to apply it, where to apply it, which sides, not around the mouth, around the eyes, yes, but it's specific. You start slow and go up slow. That's about the retinoids. And there's a lot there about peptides and vitamin C. So there's some liquid peptides, they come like in serums, and vitamin C is another antioxidant and it's absorbed by the skin. And it's portrayed there as a clarifying type of product. So having something simple like that, you find your perfect brand and you get your own routine. This is how you will be taking care of your skin. I forgot to mention nutrition. Nutrition is essential. So what you eat is what you are, right? So what you eat goes into your skin and your nails and your hair as well. So welcome antioxidants again. Everything rich in vitamin C is more than welcome. All my berries are more than welcome. What about food rich in phytoestrogens? Not a lot of evidence out there. Again, they are healthy food. Go for it. Anything that is rich in soy, edamame, and chickpeas. Like, you can have a nice hummus. And all this has antioxidants, and all this is going to help you for collagen production. Flax seeds, rich in omegas as well. So why not? So let's dig into nutrition as well. I think another podcast that we could do, just like digging into nutrition. There is a lot about nutrition through perimenopause and menopause. And again, it's nutrition, it's not dieting. And it's adding on, it's not restricting. That's how we talk about nutrition. Supplements. I am not a functional doctor. I respect a lot functional medicine because they act on the base of let's treat the root cause, and I love that. There is a lot of supplements there that really is going to support your system. Still, I always suggest a lot of caution when you are buying anything over the counter supplement-wise, because it can interact not only with your own systems, but also with other medications that you're taking. But collagen, we spoke about already. There is some scientific articles showing there some benefits on elasticity and thickness of the skin after collagen exogenous. And then there is the vitamins, right? Biotin is a vitamin that it helps as well to support a good health on your skin and your nails. For the hair, so again, simple products. Avoid anything that is full of perfumes. Try to be like sulfites free if it's possible. Get some oils, some essential oils, maintain good quality of hair, rosemary oil and castor oil. Again, there isn't a lot of evidence. I don't have the Harvard research article in my hand, but there is on the other side is like, what's the negative? It's not a negative. You can give it a try. Some people respond, some people they don't, and it's absolutely fine. Dietary wise, again, same thing. You are what you eat. Anything that is anti-inflammatory is going to help you because down inflammation, calming, counteracting cortisol, all this makes the system to be in that symphony of creating the most beautiful collagen. Fibroblasts are happy, keratinocytes are happy, and they're going to make you look happy. Sugar is going to be an inflammatory. Sugar is going to spike insulin. Insulin, it's going to be in your bloodstream, and too much insulin brings you to insulin resistance. And insulin resistance will not give you a pretty hair. So it is important that you pay attention to those little details. And we go back into like the functional doctor's root cause, right? So nutrition, again, is essential. One tip that is out there for the scalp, it's the whole microneedling, massaging as well, a lot of those special kind of massage brushes that are out there. Yes, absolutely, it stimulates, right? It's like when you stimulate your body after a massage, it's just like it's supposed to go through a calming effect. Remember, we're looking towards the calming, non-inflammatory stage that is going to put us in more balance, and the result of that is always a positive thing. And of course, to finalize this chat, we're going to talk about hormonal replacement. So again, I'm a Menopause Society certified provider, and I'm all pro hormonal replacement when there is an indication. Still, what we're noticing, obviously, we're slowly doing the transition from some of the misinterpretations of the Women's Health Initiative study. So we're now getting to understand more and more the role of that replacement. That to say, next is that when we start some hormonal replacement therapy, estrogen, progesterone on those who has a uterus to protect it against endometrial cancer, and testosterone in some women as well with specific needs, we notice a change as well in the skin, the hair, and the nails. So that estrogen replacement can have a benefit. Not that the Menopause Society is saying that the only reason to replace hormones is going to be for having a beautiful face, but a beautiful skin, but it just is important to mention that we can see those changes to the point that now many dermatologists are using off-label estrogen creams that they are used for other places, like a vaginal estrogen cream or just a topical estrogen cream. For replacement, they're using it on the face, and some are showing some benefits, like there is a direct absorption to the skin of our face, which is the one that we pay more attention. Again, we shouldn't. We should be paying attention as well to our neck and our chest. But I wanted just to mention that it's used off-label. There is some studies, there is some evidence already starting to show up that it works. Not for you to go and grab the estrogen vaginal cream that your gynecologist prescribe and start using it at night on your face, unless you have this conversation with your gynecologist, menopause provider, dermatologist, name it, just making sure that we're in the safe side as well. But I wanted to mention because it's a lot of talking out there on that possibility. And with this, I finished this conversation on the Double Down with Dr. D on hormones in our integument system. Thank you for listening. Please don't keep me a secret. Share my content. And remember, I'm trying to create content out of biases, as evidence-based as possible. And anything that makes you reflect and anything that makes you align with me and anything that inspires you. See you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the Double Down podcast with Dr. D. If today's episode inspired, empowered, or gave you a fresh perspective, please don't keep it a secret. Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to take their health to the next level. Stay inspired, stay committed, and I'll see you next time.